The preseason testing for the 2026 Formula One season is just around the corner. In fact, we are less than 3 weeks away before the preseason testing begins. And during this period of time, a lot of creators and a lot of fans and publications from the F1 world are now sharing their predictions about the pecking order in the upcoming Formula One season. Most of it is kind of useless. Now, I'm not throwing shade on anybody because, if anyone who should be not tried, but like scrutinized for his stupid predictions, it's me. So I'm not trying to throw shade on anybody. I'm just saying, we don't even have the preseason testing details. How can we predict in a sport which is as unpredictable as Formula One, where you cannot even predict that the drivers who start the season are the ones who are going to finish the season, especially for Red Bull? Like, how can you predict the pecking order for 2026, an year of massive regulation changes? We have some data. We have some information about Mercedes engine, about Red Bull Ford engine, that makes us believe that the cars running those power units will be dominant. Like Mercedes, for example, they are probably going to have the best engine. They're experienced in designing engines for Formula One, and they have proven it time and time again consistently that they are the standard for F1 engines. Now, Red Bull Ford, hats off to them because this is their first year in Formula One, and still they have managed to find a gray area and innovate over there. Just like Mercedes, Red Bull Ford powertrains will also have a performance advantage because they found a way to use thermal expansion to dynamically alter the compression ratio, which will make their engines more efficient, blah, blah, blah. I made a video about it, discussed about it. So apart from Mercedes engine and Red Bull Ford engine and the cars that will run those, we really don't know. And also from the chassis side, we don't know. We can, in between Mercedes and Red Bull Ford engines, we can give a little bit of advantage to Mercedes because they have been here, done that, and for Red Bull Ford is the first season. That's about it, really. We don't really know because Williams is on the rise. McLaren in the ground effect era, they have got their ducks in a row. Mercedes in the ground effect era, they have fumbled the chassis side of things massively. They had an extremely unpredictable car throughout the ground effect era. Even in 2025 Formula One season last year, they were incapable of making sense. They are unable to make sense of why their car performs so well in certain circuits and not so well in other circuits. And also, they went in the wrong direction of car development for multiple race weekends in a row, multiple months in a row. So you never really know until the third Grand Prix of the season, because that's what it is. In testing also, you will never really know because a lot of the teams do sandbagging. You don't know which engine modes who is running. You don't know the aero packages. You don't know if they have truly figured out the system integration because the battery power is now more important than ever. It's almost 50-50 between electrical power and engine power. So maybe the system integration, they haven't figured it out. Maybe for some teams, they're losing some horsepower in the integration somewhere, overheating somewhere. All those things will be discovered during the preseason testing, and they will still continue to develop the car throughout the season, obviously, but massively from then to the first Grand Prix. So until the second or the third Grand Prix, we won't really know for sure that which teams actually are going to be fighting for constructors, which drivers are going to be fighting for drivers' championship. We'll never really know. Another prediction that we actually can be certain of, apart from the engine situation that I just talked about, is Ferrari. They are probably not going to win anything. I am done. I am never, ever, ever again going to indulge myself in the delusion that these motherfuckers can win anything. Sorry for the bad word, but they're probably not going to win anything. There will be moments in which we will be motivated to believe, or at least visualize Ferrari winning the constructors and Charles Leclerc winning the drivers, or Lewis Hamilton winning his 8th world title, or at least be competitive enough to fight all the way till the end. there will be moments in which we will be motivated to go and just maybe this year, maybe no. From the beginning of this, like 2026, I'm going to prioritize my mental health, just like a lot of people around the world. And I'm just simply going to, if there is one prediction apart from the engine situation that I just talked about Mercedes and Red Bull Force engine being good. If there is one other prediction that I can genuinely stand behind, it's Ferrari fumbling it once again. And other than that, you really don't have any other predictions, right? Like I mentioned, we don't even know if there are going to be, if the drivers who start the season are going to be the drivers who end the season. Like we never really know. And also, talking about drivers, there's recent news that came out. Zhou Guanyu, I'm pretty sure I messed up pronouncing his last name. That's not how you pronounce Zhou's last name. But Zhou is now a reserve driver for Cadillac, so big shout out to him. But yeah, like we never really know if the same drivers are going to finish the season. And one of the big mistakes that Cadillac has done is that they have partnered with Ferrari to get their power unit for 2026. That's a horrible mistake. Why did you go with Ferrari when you know that Mercedes is like the benchmark? Why didn't you go with Honda? Because they have been dominating with Max Verstappen recently. Why don't you go with the players who have been winning? So I don't understand the logic of Cadillac in choosing a Ferrari engine. So they will probably be the least competitive of everybody. But then again, like I said, you never know. So a lot of prediction around. We can say that Mercedes has an advantage in the engine department. We can say that McLaren have their ducks in a row and they can have an advantage again in the chassis side, just like they had during the entirety of the ground effect era. Not the entirety, but like the last couple of seasons in the ground effect era, they were very dominant. Then with Red Bull Ford, if they design even a semi-competitive car, Max Verstappen is going to be fighting for the world title. I mean, that's him. He's going to do that. Car number 3 coming back. So that's that. Ferrari is not going to be competitive. There will be more, not more, but like a lot more funny moments in which they will continue to fumble wins and, you know, podiums and whatnot, and they will just throw the championship away within the first half of the season because they don't like to keep their fans in the darkness for the entirety of the year. So, you know, that's going to happen. But other than that, I don't think we can predict much. So we will find out something during the preseason testing, and then after the first or second Grand Prix, I would say, I mean, I have said the third Grand Prix, but within the first 2 races, I think we will have a more definitive conclusion about the pecking order of the 2026 Formula 1 season. So I will be, you know, doing the live watch along for the testing. Let's see what happens. Let's see which team comes out on top during those days. And from there, we will have a more, I would say, an educated guess of who is going to be where in the 2026 Formula 1 season. Thank you for watching. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.